Hi, everybody, and welcome to mindWATCH. I'm Dan Katz.
And I am Thomas Scholl.
And we are very excited to be with you today on this incredible Thursday that hopefully you're listening to our podcast.
And this is actually the first time we're both together again, because the previous two episodes, I think the last episode I wasn't able to make it. The previous episode before that you weren't able to make it. So it's been about like a month and a half.
It has
or so
been
since we've actually gotten the full team back together, and by team I mean duo.
That's right. It's really true, and I'm so glad that we are. You know, we miss it, but sometimes stuff that goes on in our personal lives prevent us from being able to record. So we're grateful that Ryan was able to kind of fill in for us when either Thomas or myself was not able to be here.
Yeah, definitely.
So how was your week?
My week's pretty good. I think at this point in the quarantine, we're what now? 7 months in? I'm really starting to feel, I'm surprised I didn't feel it sooner. I'm really starting to feel the redundancy of it. I don't even know if that's a word.
It is a word. It's a good
redundancy?
Word.
Is that like the right term?
Yeah, it's a great word.
I don't know, just
the repetitiveness of it.
The repetitiveness of the days, and especially since I have, in addition to working on stuff for Mindful Me, have another 9-to-5 job. So, I don't know, just lately things have been feeling a little redundant, in my opinion. But, I'm still meditating, and I still have a really positive attitude just in general. But I'm really starting to feel sort of like the repetitiveness of the days and everything like that. So that's just an observation I've had.
It's true. And I kind of feel like that too. And I think because, especially like you and I, really like the same things, right? Prior to COVID, going out to eat has been always fun and exciting for us. We both love going to the movies. We both love theme parks. We both love concerts. Mm-hmm. So it's like the things that we love the most to do, all of that's been stopped.
Yeah, just social human interaction outside of our homes.
But all the things that we like on our time off that we find rejuvenating and love has not been there.
Yeah.
And I've been feeling it, but today, I think, in addition to Mindful Me, I also am a teacher, and I teach a Cambridge media course, and we were talking about our A-levels making a movie, like they have to make a 5-minute short film, and just talking about the aspect, and then for the AS level, we're talking about the distribution of movies, and I just felt this longing of, I really want to sit in a theater, right? Because the other thing that you and I love so much is live theater.
Yes.
Right? With our subscription to, our theater company that is here, and, both of us seeing stuff on Broadway, and it's just, I think I'm starting to feel it a little bit too.
Yeah, I think the last live theatrical production I saw was in February from my alma mater at FAU. And I could really feel the length of it. Like, I really miss seeing live theater. I love sitting in a movie theater, going to concerts, even sitting down and like eating in a restaurant. Yeah. And I know restaurants are open and stuff, but it doesn't feel the same. Like, there's a little bit of a sense of like nervousness, especially if you're eating at a restaurant. I can only speak for myself.
I'm with you.
Certain people are just like, fine. COVID, what's that? That doesn't exist. But I don't know. Just to me, it wouldn't be the same thing in a restaurant. I can't wait till we get to that point where, everything's really back to normal, and we can kind of just like continue and resume our lives pre-coronavirus.
I agree. I think kind of like, but I think one of the reasons I'm okay, let me kind of scratch that thought. So you had mentioned something like it's been like 7 months and now you're just starting to feel it. And I'm with you. Obviously, we live in the same house, and I feel the same way. So, but I know that friends of mine, and I know that friends of yours too, have really felt that redundancy of the quarantine way earlier, like May, right? In June, the summer, and all this other stuff. And I think one of the reasons why I think I feel like I'm flowing through this quarantine better than I know other people, comparing, is because of our mindfulness practice. Mm-hmm. I think between, we both meditate on a daily basis. I usually will go half an hour to 45 minutes. I know that you're like 20 to 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I know that we both work out, and we both, do yoga.
Or being active.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that the mindfulness practice, and of course we also take classes too.
Yeah.
Like we're in a class right now. We're in our Foundation 1 class right now with Lisa. So I feel like because we're constantly bringing mindfulness into our world, that we are just kind of flowing with it a little bit better than I think I would have if I didn't have the practice.
Yeah. I think one thing that practicing mindfulness and meditating, especially during quarantine, has really instilled like a motivation inside of me. Whereas, I was motivated about certain things before quarantine, but ever since I've really started practicing it, it's really instilled this motivation in me to where it's not, I want to say easier, but I'm more apt to go out and do things as I were before. Like I don't feel as lazy.
I like that. And we've been practicing mindfulness for decades, both you and I. But
yeah.
I think that since Mindful Me's inception in March, and since we really started to focus, really living the life that we've been helping others to live,
mm-hmm.
and really being, I don't want to say strict with it, but really following a nice guided practice, I agree. Like, I feel like I've been more lasered in and like...
more like tunnel vision almost.
Right. And
like
us being able to move through things faster.
Right.
Which kind of brings us to one of the things that we want to talk about today. So I know that for myself, and I can speak for me, it is very, very, very easy. And I'm 52, so I'm like obviously, older than you as your dad. But
I don't know, creeping up on you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, you're 24. I remember the day you were born. Anyways,
yes, twinkle in the eye.
Yes. So, but I know that especially with my age, and I know that your age group does too. It's very easy when something happens in the past, and it's very easy to dwell on. Like especially if something wasn't right, or something really upset you, or it was a situation that was uncomfortable, or it was a situation you felt was unfair.
Or maybe something that would end up being traumatizing to you when you're older. But at that point, that's when you see, professional help.
Right.
Right.
That's true. But I think that it's very easy to kind of get drawn up into focusing on the past. And I found myself too, like, man, I hated that situation. I'm really angry at this one person, or, this was just such a crappy thing to happen. And we, I think everybody experiences that, where you tend to focus on that.
And I think we also, even I still to this day will just overanalyze the crap out of like this one small interaction I had earlier in the day. Like maybe did I say hi weird? Do they think I'm weird?
Yes. Yes,
and,
right?
And I think back and I'm like, why is that even important? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But we get so caught up in the past. Or have you found yourself, because I know that I do, daydreaming about something in the future?
All the time.
Right?
All the time. And I think one thing, practicing meditation and mindfulness has really helped with that kind of thing, is now I really have the awareness of when I'm doing that,
Yes.
Whereas before, a long time ago in my life, where I wasn't aware of this practice, where I would just constantly be living in the future and in the past, not truly living in the present. And then you'll be, it's kind of like that Dalai Lama quote that I shared on the Super podcast.
Oh, that's right.
That?
Yes.
That's one of I try to live by that quote every single day.
Do you remember it?
No, but I can bring it up if you give me a second.
So, I know that I found myself focusing on things in the future. And, here's the thing. So, we're kind of bringing you some Eckhart Tolle today. He is an author, and one of his earliest books is called The Power of Now. Totally recommend anybody reading it or listening to the audio about it. But the aspect of it is, if we live in the past and we focus on something that happened in the past and we obsess over it, or we're constantly daydreaming about the future, or, planning the future, or this would be a great fantasy if I had this in the future.
Yeah.
Like, if I, married my princess, and had the fairy tale and that kind of thing. What it does is it takes away from where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And the concept of the power of now is we cannot change the past. I mean, we don't have a time machine. As awesome and cool as a time machine would be, we just don't have them.
Right.
So I can't go back to change the past. And as far as the future goes, I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, we can only contemplate. And that's basically what we do about the future. Because the future technically the future doesn't exist, and the past doesn't exist.
Only the present exists.
Only the present exists. What's happening right this very moment exists. Now, is it a good idea to keep that concept in mind, or do you want to acknowledge that stuff happened in the past, but sort of like move on from it, or are we just kind of like, oh, that doesn't exist at all?
No, because I personally feel, and I think that Eckhart Tolle has basically said this in The Power of Now as well. Look, the past is there for a reason. It happened in the past. We use the past to not make the mistakes of the past, or to use the past as examples that if you repeat a certain behavior, you're going to get a certain outcome.
And the past is sort of like our growth. Like, it shows the growth that we made as a human being throughout the years.
But obsessing on it, and being angry about it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe this person did that. Like, I had a coworker that back in...
I have the quote whenever you want.
I had a coworker that was like... I think it was back in like March or April. It must have been like April because I know that we were already out of school. And they wrote something that included some like my boss and stuff about me that was very condescending, and it was awful.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was meant to be awful, but it was. Like, I don't think that was the person's intent.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that if this would have happened 5 years ago, I would be focused on it every single day, angry about it, pissed off about it, and always always focused right there. But I did. I saw what it was. I responded mindfully. I responded respectfully, responded spiritually, and dropped it.
And quote unquote being the bigger person, right?
Yes, but being the person, I think Lisa Goodwin, who is a teacher that Thomas and I both love very much, and Ryan as well, love very, very, very much. And she always says, "Be the light that you want others to be."
Yeah.
And I think that's how I reacted to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this honestly. I barely thought about it because I can't change it.
Yeah.
I could go and yell and scream at the person, but the situation was there.
Yeah. You moved on from it. You've come to peace with it.
Right. But I have to focus on the present.
Right.
I have to focus on where I'm at. What was the quote?
So this is it. The Dalai Lama, when asked what surprised him most about humanity, he answered with man. Because he sacrifices his health in order to make money, then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health, and then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he is never going to die, and then dies having never really lived.
Amazing.
It's one of my favorite quotes.
And you know what? Maybe that should be one of our tweets for Mindful Me.
True. I wonder if this was the previous Dalai Lama or the current Dalai Lama. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I'll have to do the research. But
we can even say the Dalai Lama.
Does the Dalai Lama have a Twitter account? I'm sure he does.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it's not him directly tweeting it. But I'm sure it's somebody who...
I think he's hip enough that maybe he does.
Maybe.
I don't know. But I think it's the important thing to... And I think it is beautiful because very few of us, and this is what Eckhart Tolle really says in The Power of Now, really focus on where we're at. I mean, okay, so I know that, you and I go for runs often. We both wear earbuds or airbuds when we run. When was the last time we didn't and really focused on the trees, the grass, the sky, the air, where you're at in that moment and seeing things in that moment?
Yeah. Can't really tell you because every time I listen to my music, I'm so focused on the music. And I'm also focused on how out of shape I feel.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, like huffing and puffing, I'm just like, trees?
Trees?
Grass?
I do remember that after I read The Power of Now for the first time, I took a mindful walk, and I did not use my earbuds. And I literally just walked. The trees looked so different than what I remembered. It was really cool.
Is it because you're paying attention to really in detail? Like, and you could see things.
Yes, but I'm paying attention to where I was at. Like, I was on that walk, and let me tell you, a bomb could have gone off, I would have been so unaware. I was so in this moment and in this zen.
World War III could have just been happening. And
as long as
I am enjoying the
there,
trees.
Yes. But it was the trees, it was the skies, it was the squirrels, it was the birds. It was so cool to be able to notice where I was. And I remember getting back from that walk thinking, that was like an hour of my life that was brilliant. I felt so alive and so connected because my mind wasn't on my mind did not drift to the past. I wasn't daydreaming about the future. I wasn't thinking about what I had to do at work the next day. I was only thinking about where I was at that moment. It was incredible.
We could take a couple notes from like squirrels and animals and stuff because they are
always
living in the present.
Right, because their brains don't work for the past or the future.
Right, I guess in a way you could say they have blissful ignorance. Right?
True, but they get instinctual. Like, if the storm is coming, like a hurricane, they feel it, so they leave.
That's true.
So they don't have to...
They're not thinking about a hurricane that happened, like, 5 years ago.
Correct.
So they're just focused on, like, what do I need to do now to survive?
Right.
To get to the next level.
Right. So I think that's really important for people to like kind of think about, to consider, is really focusing on where you're at. Like, when was the last time, and maybe to all of our friends that are listening, when was the last time that you did something that you were totally present in that moment, where you weren't thinking about a past situation or fantasizing about a future situation or scared of a future dilemma, right? How many times if your boss calls you and is like, oh, I want to see you in the morning, and you're only focused about what it could be. Yeah.
And I think one thing, I kind of want to use an example of something that whenever I play it, I like to play video games. I'm a bit of a gamer. So one thing that I always get totally invested in is whenever I play any kind of RPG game. So, like, for example... For
people that don't know, that's a role-playing game.
Correct. I'm sure people know what it means. But anyways, so one of my favorite RPG games of all time is Skyrim, off of the Elder Scrolls games.
Oh, the music is so cool.
And that's something that I just get so invested in because I choose my own path and I choose my own destiny, where I feel like in real life, you can also do that by the decisions you make. So I feel like on screen, I'm watching something that I can do in the present on a much more fantastical level.
Right, it's fantasy.
And that's why I get so invested in those type of games, because I always like to choose my own path.
And I think that's important to and here's the thing with Eckhart Tolle, and it's with anybody, it's not, living in the moment is obviously so important, but it's not said, don't plan for the future. Right? Like, for work, right? We're planning on things that are going to happen in the future. That's just part of work. It's part of what we do.
You kind of have to.
Right. You can't live 1,000% in the present because that's just not realistic.
Yeah.
But think of the amount of time that you spend in the future or in the past.
Yeah.
And how you're missing what's happening in the present moment.
Yeah.
As a parent, we say, oh, wow, our kids grow up so fast. You blink and they're already adults. And that's true. But imagine if you spent 100% of the present with your kids, how much more impactful it would be and appreciative and such. And it's a really cool lesson, and highly recommend the book, The Power of Now.
Yeah, because you can plan for the future because, we're humans, we have lives, we have to think about certain things.
I save for the future, for retirement, blah, blah, blah.
Right, but you don't want to live in it.
Right.
Like, you don't want to totally be in the future because the future is the future. The present is the present.
And we can control it.
Exactly.
And we're doing a future podcast as a little preview for what's coming up. I think like
contradiction to what we're talking about right now.
I think like yeah, that's true. Like 3 podcasts from now. But think about where you're at in the present and how many people that you would consider angry or bitter. And think about that person and how much time they're focused on the unfairness of their life to the point.
Yeah.
And how they get caught in that trap.
And most of the time it's because they're thinking about something that already happened.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's just something to really consider, and we are very excited about kind of exploring this topic a little bit more in future podcasts.
And because the choices we make in the present could affect the future.
Absolutely. Like, are you making your choices presently? Are you making them in the moment? Or are they being clouded by what you think the future is?
Like, are you making it because it feels right in the moment, or are you making it because you think something will happen in the future as a result of it?
Yep. That was a much better way of putting it than I did. Thank you. Yeah. That really was. It was clarifying.
That just spewed out. I can't believe that just...
But it was really good. See, because you were so connected to the present.
Yeah.
So, but we really appreciate you guys listening, and we just want to give you some food for thought, some exciting things about Mindful Me. As you all know, we are really here to help others. So we have a new platform for all of our podcasts and meditations. We are now on... now Lisa texted. So we are now on radio.com. So in addition to...
if you still listen to the radio.
Yeah, well, I love radio. Radio.com is cool because it really does... You can really listen to stations like all over the world, and podcasts. There's so many different podcasts to listen
Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
So on radio.com, you can listen to us. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just wherever you find
YouTube.
Our
YouTube channel, we have all that stuff on there too.
And if you just want something quick because you just need a quick bit of breathing, please go to our school tools. It's not just for high school, middle school, or college students.
For anybody.
It's for anybody that just needs a quick 3 to 5 minute breathe. As a break in your day, just go to mindfulme.org/school tools. And right now we have 10 of them. We have 5 more that will be added in the next couple of weeks. And then we plan on having at least 25 of these 3 to 5 minute mindfulness exercises by January. So please, please follow us, please like, please subscribe, please let us know what you would like. If there's a topic you'd like Thomas and I to cover, just please enter it into the chat, and it doesn't have to be us, because we have 2 other podcast formats.
And I believe we have a suggestion box on our website where you can type in suggestions for podcasts and for meditations as well.
Yeah, especially if there's like a meditation you'd like to go down
that we haven't covered, or something you really want us to
do, or you have a vision of something. Just let us know, and we'll put something together that is around that. You've got for our meditation leaders, we have 4 of us that do meditations for Ryan and Thomas, Fernando, and myself. So it would be awesome if you guys could give us some suggestions on that. But we do appreciate you listening. Please don't forget mindfulme.org. That's mindful with 2 L's for all of your mindfulness needs. We are here for you guys, and we really appreciate your time. We appreciate you listening and hope you got some valid things from it.
Thank you for listening presently with us.
Yes! Have a great week, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of mindWATCH with Daniel and Thomas. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to visit our website, mindfulme.org, for resources just like this. Also, follow us on social media at mindfulme Inc. We're now available on Google Podcasts, Zencast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and everywhere else you get podcasts. All you have to do is search Mindful Me. That's mindful spelled with 2 L's, space me. We can't wait to see you on there, and have a great rest of your day.